about the protests in Kenya is because the picture of democracy in East Africa doesn't look particularly good. We have recent elections in Tanzania, your neighbour. The president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, the winner, declared 97% support. That's like North Korea. Is there still democracy in Tanzania?
It's not for me to judge Tanzania. It is...
It seems a bit fishy, 97%, doesn't it?
Well, in a democracy, for example, in Kenya, you can never get 96%.
So it's not a democracy anymore then?
That is you saying. Every country have a way of them doing their stuff. But I think the primary thing is democracy is the best governance system. It's not tidy always. It is not always easy, you know, because there are all manner of moving parts. But I think we must work together to ensure that we protect democracy.
So look at one of your other neighbours, Uganda.
You know? So I think we should stick to democracy, and we must always give ourselves the opportunity to listen to the alternative view, to look at the alternative without injecting violence into the equation.
So look at one of your other neighbours,
Yes.
Uganda. Elections coming up very soon. President Museveni has been there for nearly 4 decades, and there were real questions about whether there were free and fair elections last time. His opponent, Bobby Wine, was under effective house arrest. How worried are you about those elections and whether they're going to be free and fair? Because this affects the climate of the whole region, does it not?
I attended President Museveni's swearing in last election, and I think he got 57% of the vote. He didn't get 90. So I think there is room for us to work on democracy is work in progress. And I think it spans different, different stages. There are countries like Kenya that are way ahead. There are others that are catching up. There are others that are still not yet started. And we see it changing everywhere. We see, for example, in the West, people moving more right, others moving in the left, and everything in between. So there is a dynamic globally that is changing, and society is responding to different characters. Who expected, for example, that we would have the kind of situation we had in the U.S. In the previous election? Nobody expected that Congress would be attacked, that Capitol Hill would be attacked. That looked like far-fetched. Today, that's the world we live in. I mean, there is all manner of issues coming up. And we need to, as leaders, we need to balance, we need to look at it and see how we can.
I want to raise some more of those issues on the African continent, moving to the Democratic Republic of Congo. You mentioned the US. President Trump claims it was one of the 8 wars he's ended in 8 months. It's not over, though, is it? There was a deal, and it's not really gone any further. How worried are you that that is not actually an end to the conflict?
There is a good attempt, both by regional countries like East African Community, which I chair, and SADC. There is a very good progress that has been made under the leadership of the US, Qatar, and other partners. And at least there is progress. As to whether the war has ended, it has not. But there is demonstrable progress towards resolving that issue. And so is the case in Somalia, and so is the case in Sudan, and all the other hotspots in our continent.
And of course, the effects of the war in DRC are felt around the region and in Kenya, and you also have refugees from other countries, and yet the US has cut its humanitarian funding. The US and other countries have cut their funding to the United Nations. How is that affecting your efforts to help refugees who are sheltering in Kenya? There have even been some reports that in some of the camps, some people at some points have been close to starvation.
Well, there is serious, I must admit, there is a serious effect on the cutback by countries on funding the UN and UN operations that is affecting the global community, from health to refugees to peacekeeping efforts in Somalia.